What is going on? I'm Cole. Thank you so much for being here. I am excited to talk to you guys about my most anticipated comics for January 26, 2022, and I'll get to those right after this. My most anticipated comics for January 26, 2022. So as you noticed, it is Saturday today. Normally I do this video on Friday. I had some weird issues where the audio did not sync up to the video, and it was really giving me a headache when I was trying to edit it. So I kind of just ditched it, and I just kind of took the day to sit off because I was slightly upset with that. Before I get into my picks, I always like to lead this show with, if you can see behind me, I have League of Comic Geeks up. I use that to talk about what books I'm going to pick this week. Unfortunately, with paper shortages, delays in shipping, whatever, some of these books don't always hit these days, especially with me recording today on a Saturday, but usually on a Thursday or Friday. It doesn't always get it right, which is unfortunate, but I want to give you that disclaimer in case you get to your shop and you're like, where's that book he talked about? If you know anything about me, I think a lot of you do. If you're here watching this video, I love the book Saga. I love it so much that I named my daughter after a character, and issue 55 is coming out this week. It has been on hiatus since I think June of 2018, which is a very long time, and it's back. I'm pumped for this. This is easily the first book I'm going to read. While I don't think this is a great jumping off point because issue 54 left us in this crazy emotional tangle, I think if you've never read this book, it is at least worth it to pick up the first trade and check it out. If you don't use your local library, I highly recommend going there. If they have Hoopla, you can check out, I think, all the hardcovers of these on Hoopla, which is just 3 credits to read 54 issues of my personal favorite comic book. I know that it is not for everyone. There is a lot of nudity in it. There is a lot of graphic words. Some people say it's edgy for the sake of being edgy, and maybe it is, but I don't know. I still really like it. So that is going to be my first pick of this week with Saga number 55. Pick number 2 is easily the most disappointed book I am to talk about this week because it is Wonder Girl number 7. This book is this is the final issue of this book, which is such a bummer. Joelle Jones, I think, has been doing a fantastic job with Wonder Girl. I love Yara Flor so much so that I have her Funko Pop right here. It's hidden by a Sting figure, but you get the drift. And you know what? It is a bummer. I literally told my shop after issue 6, I pulled the B cover off and I grabbed it. I was like, hey, you know what? I've been loving these variants. Give me both the A and the B cover on my pull list because I need them both. And it got cut. But you know what? This is still going to be a fantastic end to what I think has been a fantastic story. If you have not checked this book out, I highly recommend when the trade comes out, if they release a trade, buy it because we need more Yara Flores. And while it is disappointing that they're ending this so short, I would really hope that we can get her back into our lives again. So unfortunately, the last 2 books maybe aren't great for people that aren't currently invested in Saga already, or ones that are not currently invested in Wonder Girl, although it might make a fairly decent spec book because it is the last issue in her first run. I'm going to say these are all number 1, so these are great jumping off points for mostly everyone. The first book we're going to talk about is End After End number 1. This is by David Andry, who is best friends with Bruce and Stephanie, and Tim Daniels, and this is a Vault comic book. I'm very excited for this. I don't really know much about it because I didn't even read the actual synopsis of this. All I know is that when David was on the Comic Burrito, one of the things he mentioned for us was he has been working on a horror book, so I think this should be horror vibes. Well, I personally don't like to read the blurbs just because if I know the author, I know I'm normally going to be into these stories, or at least check out the number 1s. I'd rather be surprised and see if that first issue can bring me in without knowing exactly what it's about. So if you're maybe not into horror, maybe check out the blurb itself and see if this seems like something that you would like. Because personally, I didn't read it, but I know with David Andry writing a book, I am very willing to give it at least a try for Bruce and Stephanie. And our next book that we have up is Happy Hills number 1. This is from Comics Tribe. It is from writer Rich Dueck and artist Joe Mulvey. And this is full disclaimer on this one. League of Comic Geeks says that it's coming out. I'm not sure if my comic shop's going to have it. They don't always get Comics Tribe. It is slightly smaller of a publication. But I did know that I've seen certain people post videos where they had it last week. So your shop might have already gotten this. But once again, they are a fantastic duo. They wrote another book called Wailing Blaze, which I backed on Kickstarter, and I really enjoyed. So I think this is another book that if you're looking for a number one, you want some kind of horror vibes, check out this cover over here. It's awesome. I think you'll really like this if that's sort of what you're looking for. Once again, as I mentioned in the other one, I don't always read the blurbs of a book if I know the writer and the creative team have done stuff I already like, because usually it's worth at least picking up a number one. And the final one. This is going to be a weird one, and it's slightly different than what I normally do. But last week I had a lot of fun asking everyone in the audience, should I get Silk or should I get Ben Reilly? Spoiler alert, I got both of them. I only read Silk at this point in time, but Ben Reilly will get read fairly soon. And so here's one. We've got Mary Jane and Black Cat. Is this a book you think I should read? This book is written by Jed MacKay. There's also a bunch of other people. I remember Kelly Thompson was one of the other people. And it's about Mary Jane as the only person that can save Black Cat. Does this sound compelling to you? I know Bruce had on his spec video that there's thousands of covers for this, and you know, most people are just going to do it for a cover buy. But do you think this book is worth reading, or do you think it's a pass? I like what Jed MacKay's been doing on Moon Knight. I know a lot of people love his Black Cat run. I have assumptions that this should be a pretty good book, but what do you at home think? One of the things I've liked to do about this is letting you know what I like to read, but also I would like to hear what you guys like to read. And this is the final week of January for new comic book days. So if I can get 15 comments like I've gotten on the other 3 ones, we will add 4 extra books to this list. I know that this month might not be exactly perfect on what I throw into this box, because there were certain times when I could not get to the comic book shop. I've kind of forgotten which days I have books for, so you're probably going to get a smorgasbord of random books that came out loosely around this time. They might not all be books that I talked about, but hopefully that shouldn't be a huge issue to you in the audience. So once again, let me know what you're looking most forward to reading, which one of my books you think is the best or the worst, or yeah, if there's a book that's a number one you think I should check out, let me know. I'm more than willing to give those a read, and if I don't like it, maybe I'll throw it in the box, and this can be one of the extra books that you receive for coming here and checking it out. I very much appreciate everyone who's here. As always, I'm Cole, and thank you for stopping by. Peace! My most anticipated comics for January 26, 2022.